All right. Morning, gentlemen. It is about that time for a new league season. Making this video bright and early on Sunday morning, so gonna stumble my way through it, but a couple important things to talk about for the new season that is now upon us. So let's get into it. All right, look at this. Got a presentation for you. So, year 15 this year. Hell of an accomplishment. Congrats to everyone who has been a part of this journey or has joined along the way. We got a hell of a group here. And what else is there to say? We'll make it to year 15. We'll make it to year 30, year 50. The league never stops. So, year 14, Bullet did, in fact, win again. Not something I was trying to think about. I ignored it for 7 months or whatever it was, but here's how it went down. Bullet did beat Carter by 7. It was actually a hell of a championship. Looking back at it, only 7 points, and they lit up the scoreboard. In the Sacco, Nate decisive victory over Pat McLaughlin. Patty with the Sacco. Look, Sacco punishment. Been talking about it for 10 years. Ever since Nate wore that dress to the draft. I don't know, man. I don't know. I need to defer to someone else. Think about it. But Pat, right now you just get all the shame, man. No physical punishment to go along with that, but shame on you. Horrendous season. Dynasty rankings. You can take a look. Not too much shaking up the order here. It's going to change less and less as we keep going. No surprise we got Dan on top. No surprise we got Kev at the bottom. He's got a ways to go just to even get out of that spot and catch Nate. Now I'm sandwiched between the two newcomers. Not looking great. Nick all the way up at number 3. We'll see. We'll see how this can get shaken up this year. But Dan and Kev at the bottom, I don't think it's possible for that to change. So, new in 2024. We've been sticking with the same season format for a while now. Classic format, just to remind you. We've got 3 divisions of 4 teams. Play everyone in your division once, or play everyone once. Last 3 games, you play your division again, similar to NFL. Move on from that to our 16 playoff bracket, Sacco bracket, top 2, bottom 2 get buys. Now, like I said, we had a 14-game regular season, 3 weeks of playoffs. So, some bold changes are coming this year that I think are for the best and we're going to have a lot of fun with. So, no divisions. Get rid of them. And then you'll see here, no playoff bracket. What the hell is this guy talking about? No playoff bracket. Well, we'll get into that. And then here's just another short headline. League phases 1 and 2 followed by championship weekend. So I know you're probably thinking, Rick, you're fucking up this whole thing. What the hell are you thinking? But I'm gonna try to win you over the next 5 minutes. So how it works. For any diehard footy fans out there, psychos like me, tracking some of these smaller leagues in Europe. It's inspired by kind of what they're doing in some of these smaller countries, Belgium, Austria, Scotland. So here's what we're going to do. Like I said, no divisions. Everyone plays everyone else through first 11 weeks of the season. That's how that'll shake out. You play everybody once, and that's phase 1 of the new season. So at the end of week 11, we'll have the standings 1 to 12. At that point, the top 6 will move on to the championship division. Bottom 6 will go to the Sacco division. So this is similar, right, to breaking us up into 2 playoff brackets, but it's happening earlier. And what's the reason for this? So at that point, we move on to phase 2 of the season. Everyone's records reset to 0-0, right? So it's like a whole new league starting. But what this does is that over the next 5 weeks, you play everyone in your new division one time, right? So it's like we go to the championship bracket and Sacco bracket, but instead of just having these matchups play out, you're in essentially a new league of 6 teams over just 5 weeks, right? So you're going to play everyone in your division once. That'll get us through week 16, where still on the same timeline, we're left with week 17. We still get a championship match between the top 2 from just those 5 games. And we get a Sacco final from the bottom 2 from just those 5 games. A lot to process there, right? Something I threw in here that we could have been doing already once we got to playoff time, but it will give the top division, the ones fighting for the title, waiver priority all of these weeks after week 11. So, week 12 standings, just to elaborate on this a bit, like I said, everyone's record will be reset, wiped out. But, it's not like finishing, as I put here, first is the same as finishing 6th. There will be some advantage that carries over. So you can see here what the points for will be at that week 12 time. 1 to 6, and reverse it for Sacco going into the negatives. The point of this, when we move on to phase 2, it's sort of like we go into the playoffs, right? Basically the same thing. If you are, the 5 or 6 seed and you go 5-0 over those 5 weeks, you're going to be in the championship, likely even if you go 4-1. But this, could be key, these points for in terms of breaking ties. So you get that advantage, at least if you were finishing at the top of the order in weeks 1 to 11. So we're resetting at week 12, like we're moving on to the playoffs, but, still something that gets carried over where it could break up a tiebreaker. All right, things I was worried about and why it's no big deal. So previous trade deadline was week 11. That made sense right before we play the divisions again. No more trades after that. Week 11 now would be an awkward time, right, as people are finding out if they're have a chance for the title or not, which division they're ending up in. So I'm just going to move that up to week 8. We'll have a bit earlier trade deadline, but that'll be 3 weeks left in competing for, to make it to the upper bracket. So this one's interesting. Some of my players will have buys in phase 1 and some in phase 2. My response to this is true, something interesting to think about. So we'll add strategy during draft night. And as you're thinking about your team a little more, does it really change things that much? I'm going to argue no, but something to think about as you're picking players, different stakes as to when those buys occur. But I added this here, there are week 14 buys in the NFL right now. What's really worse if you were making a playoff push or we're deciding seeding or you're competing for a bye and you got a key player missing in the last week of what would have been our regular season before, or, now our week 14 will be week 3 of 5 in what's our phase 2, playoffs. So this will be interesting. I don't think it's a negative necessarily how these buys will shake out. Now, this last one's the most important thing. I'm sure you say, I doubt Sleeper can do this, and you're probably correct. I haven't spent too much time yet getting into exactly how it will shake out, but for what I know since we start using Sleeper is I can fuck with it a lot. I can do a lot of things in the commissioner settings. So I'm hoping weeks 1 to 11 will obviously feel normal. I'm hoping when we move into phase 2 after week 11, I can set it up in a way that still looks pretty normal. At the very least, what I'll promise to everyone is there will be some detailed spreadsheet set up, tracking the standings, and that'll be pinned to the chat, easy for everyone to view. Won't be ideal. There might be some growing pains sorting this out, but I'm confident we can get through them in a way that makes sense. So that's my goal. And that's, the the biggest concern that might make things a little weird. Yeah, so summary. This will be fun. I'm confident this will be fun. I think it'll be great to shake up the league format this way. And I think there's a ton of benefits. The playoffs are fun, what we've been doing. What this does will get rid of some of the, not randomness, because it's not random if you win or not. Your team's got to perform, but what word am I looking for? Forget it. This eliminates just having one game season on the line. Before that championship, 3 seed versus 6 seed, 1 seed versus 6 seed. The people in our championship and SACA will be decided more by cumulative amount of games played, and instead of having us play 2 games against whoever's happens to be in your division, the teams you'll end up playing twice are the ones that you're competing against. So, right, so it's like you play your whole playoff bracket twice instead of just the teams in your division twice. So certainly when we get to the championship in SACO, my expectation is that it's less about luck and how you got there, more about overall team performance, and it's still got all the high stakes you're looking for in the playoffs when we get these key matchups late in the season. So I'm excited about it. We'll see how it goes this year. We're doing it. I don't care if I get a bunch of hate in the chat. We're doing this for at least 1 year, and I think it's going to work out pretty damn well. So without further ado, let's figure out what the draft order is. All right. So obviously I put all my mental energy into that. So we're doing the same shit as last year for draft order, but watch along with me and let's have some fun with it. So I'll be spinning this wheel. We're going in negative order, or not reverse order from 12 to 1, whoever gets picked. So let's do it. So 12th pick on the turn at the end of round 1. That will be great. Looks good. Fantastic. Number 11. B.O.B. Brennan O'Boyle. Picking in front of and behind me. All right. Number 10. Not a bad spot to be in. That 10-9, 4-5 range. It's going to be Nate. Number 9. Nikki Whalen. In the 8th spot, we got Carter. Runner-up last year. Number 7, right around the middle. Looks to be our SACA. Patty Mack, taken in 7th. Into the top half, number 6. That'll be Ryan, Rye Guy. Top 5. Patty G. Coming in 5th. Top 4, who we got here? So Bullet, Kev, Scud, Bob. Interesting group. I think we'll all be rooting for Kev to end up with this top pick, you know, to destroy him over whoever he picks. It'll be Scud in the 4 spot. Top 3. Bullet. All right. But here we go. Top pick overall in 2024 will be Bob McCafferty or Kevin Courthouse. Whoever this wheel lands on will be number 2, you know, the way we've been doing it. So last one left, you get whoever it is your heart desires from the entire National Football League. And second pick will be Kevin. So Bob, man, you have the honors. Don't fuck it up. All right. I don't see on my screen how long this went for. But okay. I'll be shooting this vid out today, or I'll send out this PowerPoint like tomorrow, but I'll be encouraging people to watch this video. So there you have it. Let's have a hell of a season. Talk to all you guys on Tuesday. Now let's get after it. All right. Be good.